Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to my class. So I thought this would be much easier just to get everybody on the same page, to see visual and everything like that, because it does get a little, not a little confusing, but it is hard to follow without a diagram. So Aurora has multiple clots throughout her body. Clotting doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. I mean, it's honestly understandable because she's been intubated, she had ECMO, she's been bed rest for the beginning portion of her life. She's significant amount of time right now. So clots are formed by the lack of blood flow. So truck drivers get them. Any stationary positions, you're most likely to have clots. So this is not really a surprise to the doctors, but what is a surprise to the doctors is the clot that is formed right here in her heart. It is located in the right atrium, and the right atrium is the side of the heart that blood is getting brought back to from her exteriors. So that's from her, it's in her atrial vein. So that's gonna be the blood that circles through to her legs, that go to her heart, the blood that comes from her heart, that goes to her lungs, that travels and cycles throughout her legs back up. So what that looks like on the diagram is we have this clot right here. Blood comes in, it pumps out to the lungs, follows down, comes through this beautiful centerpiece, goes back through her legs, around her legs, back in. So when it goes back in, the point of also concern is right here, her inferior vena cava. It's it's that main vein that takes that blood that just traveled through her legs, her exterior, and brings it back in. That is our main two clotting points that are kind of how did that happen? But what we do think has happened is that this ties hand in hand because she has a clot in her right leg, and we've already known this from her first admission. She had clots in her left and right leg from the lack of movement, and obviously because her heart, it wasn't designed to reach those areas just yet. So it was a poor pumping function. So over time, these clots have built up in her legs, and also it is built up in the center where her main vein is. That center piece of vein that comes up, which comes up to right here, that has also over time built up clots as well, which is right here, okay? So we're seeing multiple clots in her legs, in her main sputum vein, and in her right atrium. These are all pretty big. What we're gonna be doing is because there's so many, all we can do is therapeutic heparin. That's gonna be the less risk, because if we go in and we go in for a cath lab, they have the ability of breaking this up right here, but if they break it up, it's a very stable clot right now. If they break it up, then all of a sudden it's traveling out, blocking this one, going into her lungs, blocking that. So right now we're just gonna be doing therapeutic heparin to try to take care of all of those clots, and it's gonna be long-term, so it's gonna be 6 months from now that she's gonna be having injections still, but it's something that they can't just go in and they can't just take it out because there's so much more risks to it, of it flying this way and then recycling back in, hopefully not, obviously, God forbid. But so that's where we are on the blood clots and the diagram. And she also does have one in her neck. So it's gonna be a process of just doing the heparin. But long story short, it doesn't affect the squeeze of her heart. Or if we take away those medicines that she's on, the epi, the things that really make it squeeze and pump, her heart's fine. It's gonna function fine. It's not gonna throw it. But what we are concerned about is that a little piece can break off, God forbid, but it happens, a little piece can break off. This is our fear, that it'll go into her lungs. So through the next week, we're gonna be focusing on watching her numbers really closely. And if that does happen, we will have to do an invasive type procedure to where we're gonna be going into the cath lab, and they're gonna be trying to break it up from whatever piece flung. They're gonna go in and try to, unclog the pipes. But for now, we're just gonna stay stable. We're just gonna do the heparin drip. It's not gonna affect her heart function in the long term. It's not gonna affect, you know, the rhythm of it, you know, from the pacemaker, her blood being too thin, all those, not a thing. So later, you know, when we come home, there are going to be warning signs of clotting that we will have to look for, you know, when she goes and hangs out with grandma and grandpa, and like, you know, all those things. So I wanted to show you guys physically what we are looking at and where we are, so we're all on the same page of her health, because we all need to know how she will be, you know. It's especially if I want to leave her with all of you trusty folks, I need to make sure that we're all on the same page. So that is all I got for now. She is, how I told you guys the other day, how she is, you know, rejecting her feeds right now. We don't know if the clot ties into that, or if it's because she's had a lack of nutrients and she has had a lab procedure to straighten out her intestines. We don't know if they accidentally twisted on each other right now, and it's not allowing it. So we're gonna be doing that study today. She is about to go right now for that. So I will let you guys know whenever I know for that one. But if you guys have any questions, just let me know, and I'll do what I do. All right, love you all.